Bonsoir les gars, on va commencer avec une nouvelle vidéo ce soir pour les gens qui parlent français. Actually, you know where our guys, Matt Martinez, let's get into it. So guys, I'm touching base with you in respect of this particular fragrance. I've not actually purchased the fragrance, I've actually just got a spray of it quite recently, and for what it is guys, I just thought I'd do a quick review because now's not really a time to go crazy buying excessive amounts of fragrances, in all honesty, because do we really need them? Are we really going anywhere particularly? Probably not right now, but nonetheless guys, this is a fragrance which is Miyake. For those that know, I've always been relatively quite, how could I say, middle of the road when it comes to these type of fragrances. It's not a fragrance necessarily is going to be the top. Sometimes you get it on discount, sometimes you get it relatively cheap, and I think this is actually a good fragrance. It's known as Miyake Fusion, Fusion Daisy Miyake, which it seems to be quite a nice fragrance, guys. I mean, ultimately, note breakdown on Fragrantica, according to Fragrantica, says that it's got lemon, coconut, fig in the top notes, and then we got some sandalwood in the mids, and then it goes in this type of geranium with some, I believe that's like cardamom, and then the base is saying it's got ambroxan with some cedarwood, and then also some patchouli. Now for me guys, I couldn't spray this on skin because, again, the problem that we face when we go to these particular stores in the current time is that some places they just say we won't spray it on skin. Some of the how could I say, the sales assistants are some of them are slightly more, oh there you go sort of scenario, and they're not as rigid about it, but others are relatively, no, we need to make sure that we stick to this and we do it this way. Some of them will hand it to you actually on this like sort of paddle thing, and others will just give you the card. For me guys, ultimately, I've not sprayed it on skin, so I can't really say, so this is only a first impressions based on the card, if that even counts. But from what I can smell, it's a nice fragrance guys. Again, it gives me this type of, how could I say, it doesn't say on the note breakdown there there's any orange in there, but I do get like a citric orange. So it does say that there's lemon in the top notes, which is not bad. I get like a sort of mandarin type of, I say like an orange note to my nose, with this type of coconut sort of vibe going on. It's a very smooth sort of creamy scent as well. Maybe the creaminess is coming from the sandalwood. So, you know, it's one of those fragrances which I think will go down very well in the high heat. Is Miyake fragrances seem to be slightly more, you know, for, I mean, again, as I say, it's middle of the road, so I wouldn't necessarily, I think this one's quite versatile, probably slightly more for, I say, like a summertime vibe. It's definitely one which I think would go down well for the gym, but it's not necessarily one I would go to as my first choice. It's a pleasant fragrance, but at the same time, it's one of those ones that if you smelt it today, you'd smell it, you think, wow, that's a nice fragrance, it's fresh, it's fruity, and again, borderline even tropical vibe. If you imagine like how could I say, like a suntan lotion vibe with this sort of coconut vibe going on. It's not bad at all, and again, you got that fig note, so you got a little bit of this sort of like gourmandish element to it. But for me, it's not necessarily groundbreaking. It's nice, but I would spray it, I smell it, and I'll probably just keep moving. It's not a groundbreaking fragrance compared to the next one that we're going to talk about. However, nonetheless, guys, if you can get this one on discount, I would say, I'm just looking online now, I think it's going for around about £40, £45 for 50 ml. For me, I probably wouldn't bother. I'll wait till it goes on discount. Maybe if you're going for £20 in Boots, for those guys that live in the UK, in Boots, by all means, go and check that one out. But for me, it's just a so-so fragrance, yeah, 2020. I don't even know if you could call this a flanker, to be honest, because a lot of these Miyake fragrances quite watery and fresh. This one, again, slightly more on this sort of like tropical vibe, so it could be a little bit thick in the opening for some people if they don't necessarily like fruity fragrances. This one's not too bad, but I do get this coconut vibe, as I say, slightly suntan lotion vibe, so it's okay. But again, as things go guys, it just is what it is. I wouldn't go out my way, so I'll leave that one alone. Personally, I wouldn't personally go and buy it. I wouldn't want to effectively spend any money on that one. It's a nice fragrance. If I smelt it, I say that smells nice, but I wouldn't necessarily go out my way, guys, because there's just not enough, in my view, to really write home about. Unfortunately, it doesn't really seem to give me much by way of any like oomph as fragrances go. And the fig in there as well, I mean, having just smelt King, the other Parfum, that's got fig in it as well. So realistically, how many fig fragrances do you want that actually could be taken a different way? But hey, that is the point. How many friggin' fragrances do you want realistically? However, now this is a different type of fragrance, guys, so let's get into it. I'm going to put it on there, and I've put it on there only for the grown and sexy, and this is Le Male Parfum Jean-Paul Gaultier for men. So ultimately, guys, I'm going to say, and it might be a bold statement, and again, if you trust my opinion and you value my opinion, I hope you do take this one on board. I'm going to say, as fragrances go, and it's very difficult to say in the current climate, because a lot of the perfumers, so a lot of the fragrance reviewers on YouTube and everything else, we're somewhat limited as to what we can do in respect of getting out to smell fragrances. And ultimately, guys, for me, in my opinion, this is another mid-range fragrance. It's not one that's costing, into the niche range where you're paying £150 plus to get a bottle for 70ml. This is obviously 75ml, I believe it comes in, or 70ml for the Jean Paul Gaultier fragrances, and it goes up to 125ml. But for me, guys, this, in my opinion, is probably one of the best fragrances of 2020, hands down. I don't believe anyone could necessarily say otherwise. Maybe some people may not like it, but for the complexity, for the sillage, for the longevity of this fragrance, from what I've smelt, guys, oh my gosh, this is one of those fragrances, guys, that, again, it's not for children. This is not a fragrance for children. I even say handle this with care. I say, ladies, if you're watching this one, get this one for your boyfriend, because this is what he needed in his life. This is what he's been waiting for. Guys, if you're not sure, tell your lady to go and buy this one for you, even if you're not smelled it at all. I don't necessarily advocate blind buying, but for me, guys, this is one of those fragrances which, again, it stands out. It's a nice fragrance. It's a well-made fragrance. It's smooth, it's creamy, it's sexy, it's there, it's in your face, saying, I'm masculine, I'm here. The Jean Paul Gaultier, just the original, gets me so many compliments anyway. This is a flanker, but in all honesty, guys, this is a standalone fragrance. This is a fragrance which, like Ultramal didn't personally get me that many compliments when I've worn it out. And I've worn it out on many occasions, and I don't really seem to get that many compliments when I was wearing it to the club. This potentially is like a mature version of a fragrance, is what I'd say, from Jean Paul Gaultier. Not necessarily that it's completely, how could I say, it's not the same as Ultramal. It doesn't go down that vibe. It's going down the vibe of the original, but in a slightly more, less abrasive, less in your face, less vanilla, vanilla bomb type of smell going on. No breakdown in this one, saying it's got cardamom in the top notes, and in the mid notes is saying that we've got this type of iris, and we have some lavender. This again calling for Fragrantica. Again, it's saying it's got some vanilla in there in the base, and also some woodsy notes and ornamental notes. For me, guys, this is a well-made fragrance. I don't know. I'm just looking at Fragrantica. Some people are trying to compare it to Yves Saint Laurent, La Nuit de l'Homme. I don't get that vibe. To me, this is not the same. This is not the same. This is one, for me, it's one of those ones you smell it first of all and you're impressed. Then you allow it time and you become even more impressed. Then you allow it a little bit longer and you say to yourself, you know what? I need to go and get this one. Now, guys, I'm not saying to go and waste your paycheck on going to buy the 125ml. If you can get it, if you're traveling, you can get it in maybe the airport or something like that, it's slightly cheaper. That's the time to get it. Try and get it when you got a discount. Don't waste your paycheck on it. But at the same time, this is one, in my opinion, that you need to have in your collection. I mean, I'm just looking at some of the points that people are saying in there. Some people are saying that it doesn't last too long in the skin for them. It's very difficult sometimes to really know, because, as I say, in this scenario now that we're in, it's difficult for a lot of people to give their opinion, because a lot of people can't go out and smell fragrances in the same way that we would have been doing before. However, for me, guys, even on the card, this has been on the card probably now for 3 days, and it's still giving off that vibe of what it smells like. Definitely something for evening wear, even dressed up wear, very casual. How can I say? Sorry, not very casual necessarily, because it could be a little bit too formal if you just go into the corner store. But at the same time, you could wear this anytime, I would say. Probably a little bit too heavy for the gym. It has a heaviness about it, like a sweetness that I'd say probably coming from the woods, spice, and again this type of vanilla vibe, but it's not, again, so potent as the original La Mal. This one's slightly more reserved, slightly more, as I say, for the grown, slightly more for the sexy occasion, slightly more for even a date night. This will go down very well. It's just a very well made fragrance, guys. It's very difficult for me. I'll get my own bottle and do another review, but it's very difficult for me to give more than that, because this is one of those fragrances which, in my opinion, is one of the best ones that have been released. It smells even borderline niche. And again, for what Jean Paul Gaultier have released, this, in my opinion, out of flankers, this is probably one of the better ones. I know people say, I've seen Jeremy's fragrance review and he said about Ultramal being the best one for him. That might be the best one for him. For me, that one's a little bit maybe too juvenile. That one's a little bit too sort of like, it smells to me like too much like a tropical type of fruit punch type of smell is what I get from that one. So for me, I could wear it, but again, it's a little bit cloying to me because it's just a little bit too sweet, too sickly. This one is slightly more reserved, slightly for the grown man. Definitely if you're in 25 upwards into 30s, this is definitely one. And above, you definitely get away with this one all day long. Whereas Ultra Mal, for me, seems a little bit more, as I say, 19, 20 plus, going up a little bit. And again, it's a little bit more juvenile. Very good fragrance, guys. Hopefully, I can get a bottle soon enough. But definitely, guys, I'd say go and check that one out and let me know your thoughts down in the comments down below. If this will save you some time and some money, please don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And I'll see you on the next video. As I say, guys, thank you very much if you're giving these videos a like, because it does help. You can see where we are. We're still sat here. So I'm still trying to build up so we can get the likes, get the algorithm going, and then we can get a new background and everything else like that. But it does take some time though, guys. So YouTube is not a nice algorithm if you're not getting the likes and you're not getting the comments. It really does make a difference. And again, guys, if you'd like me to give you some advice on a fragrance specifically for yourself, again, please do not forget to leave a comment down below. And again, I've left some details there for you to look at. And again, PayPal information is there. Just a £1 donation or a €1 donation, and I'll get back to you with a bit of detailed advice on that. But definitely, guys, date night, grown and sexy. This is the one at this point in time of the year. We're already in August now, going into September. Ultra Malt, in my opinion, is probably the fragrance of the year when it comes to these mid-range fragrances. Not niche, 50, 60 pounds, and you're getting there with this one. Definitely very good banger, guys. And I think this is probably one of the best ones that they released, Unexpected Flankers. See you on the next video. Ciao.